You've had enough of that shit.
Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 586. We are here talking about being the being the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris. With me is my good host, good friend and co-host, Jeff the Riz Risden. And we're here to tell you the calls are coming from New York. How you doing, Riz?
I'm doing great. I had to look it up here because 586, that's an area code. And I'm like, that's in Detroit, isn't it? And
Yeah, it is indeed.
how appropriate.
We're working our way through. We're working our way through Michigan's. I think there's a 9 something up north, isn't there, in the UP?
906, I think. I'm in the 616, so.
I see someone saying, is YouTube down for you guys too? It's working, but it looks a little wonky. So we're going to just keep going like everything is cool, doing our thing, because it's cool from our side. And YouTube should either fix it, and if YouTube doesn't fix it, you can catch it on the rebound on the Spotify and all the other stuff. Yeah. We do have the video on Spotify now for you folks. So there could be some kind of distributed denial of service attack or something going on. So
for those of us who pay for Spotify, it's very nice.
Yeah.
One of my few vices in life, I pay for the Spotify Premium.
Ooh, that's nice. I do too. You get the family one, right? So everybody gets a little bit of the juice.
Yes.
Yeah. Same here.
My daughter and I are music junkies. Neither of us really watches TV, so we're on the radio all the time. Or music,
either on or listening, right?
Yes.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's get to this. We've got a lot to talk about. This was a action-packed Sunday that has a lot of angles that we need to cover. We will cover them all. We're going to try to break it into chunks, so we'll talk about things a little bit in a vacuum each step of the way. That way,
stress talk.
Penne wants you to get something different.
Yeah, no offense, Penne. That's not an Oregon duck. That is a Lions duck.
Oh man. So it's a little bit wild what happened, and there, like I said, there's a lot of angles to this and a lot of nuance to some of these things, and we're going to cover them. We're going to give them the full piece, and I think we've got something good for you this week, and I think you folks will really appreciate it. So thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about the Lions' loss in KC, suspensions, injuries, and returns. We got the calls are coming from New York, and looking ahead and making picks for the game against the Bucs. We got all that and a whole lot more. Mr. Risden, sir, also known as the Rizzler. Are you ready to go, my man?
Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right. Seeing in the chat that it is finally breaking through if you stick with it. So if you get in and it's going on, please go with it, and then it'll come with you. NFL, not freaking likely. Thank you for the super chat, Flounder. I'll get that up in just 1 second. I got to fix one thing that I forgot to set up at the beginning of the show here.
It's been an interesting. What was that? That was Sunday night. This Wednesday. It's been 72 hours? Not quite 72 hours since the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the most kind of talk about a game since forever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
certainly since week one.
So many angles.
Week one.
So many angles to this one. So anyway, we'll talk about it. We'll get you all in there. There we are. Super Flounder.
Hey,
super chat.
I see it.
There we go. Thank you.
Flounder.
Not freaking likely. Yes, that's a very good way to put it, my friend. Okay, so let's get into it. The Lions take the L against the Chiefs. And I think this is foundational for the entirety of the conversation that we have here, is that the Lions didn't play well. They probably, everything else aside, didn't play well enough to win. Okay. And
they did not.
I want to put that out there first and foremost about everything else. So when we talk about other things out there, if you're like, oh, you just complain about the refs, you wouldn't have won, all that, suck your mom's dick. That's not what we're doing. That's not what it's about. We are very starting at the very beginning right now saying the Lions likely would not have won this game, all other things taken out. They didn't play well, and it was their skill positions. It was across the board. It was much like the Green Bay game is, where the team across the board didn't shine.
And we were talking about it a little bit in the Slack today, and I've been yelling back and forth with Russ Brown in our private chat all day. the best players on the team were not the best players for the Lions this week. Whether it was Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell did not have his best game. Jahmyr Gibbs had a rotten game. I don't think Jack Campbell has ever played worse. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, they both played terrible games. I literally didn't know that Tyleik Williams was on the field. Aiden Hutchinson had a decent game, but he's been better. Like, all these key players that you rely on to be the reason why you win were the reason why they didn't win. When your star players don't have good games and you're playing a good team, you're not going to win. Like, you've got to have somebody. Laporta was great. I thought J-Mo was actually really good. I do think that Hutchinson did well. I think AQM did well. Anzalone did okay. Outside corners, other than Amik in the red zone, was pretty good. But when your Pro Bowl players aren't playing like they belong in the Pro Bowl, it's really hard to win against a good team.
Yep.
Guess what? Kansas City's good. I know their record says they're 3-3. It's a good football team, folks. They really are.
Yeah. And they are, and they definitely were on the ropes. They needed a get right game. They came in with that get right mindset. I will say, this game, we're a very young team. It illustrated that because a lot of the guys were reacting to what was going on the field in a way that you didn't see. I have to imagine that part of Kansas City's strategy was to pull these guys out of their game with a lot of the chatter and some of the stuff on the field. It just feels that way. I can't say for sure. I wasn't on there. I don't have access to the mics or anything else. But the Lions universally don't typically react like this to another team on the field. They just beat them up and play. There had to be, like, they were either, I don't even say it. they were either all in a bad place, right? Or there was something going on that was pulling that out of them, and it doesn't excuse it. That's part of you have to be able to ignore that. That's part of the game.
Gotta
right?
be better than that.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about that with BB here in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Hat tip there to Sonny Elliott. Yeah, no, this is something that they have to be able to overcome, and I think this kind of belies a little bit of the youth on the team, right? Young guys can get baited by wily vets in situations like this, and it feels like, and it looked like that was part of what the game plan was. Wise plan. Andy Reid is not a dumb coach. They are not a bad team. They've been playing below where they were expected and what expectations were. We talk about the week one game doesn't mean anything, right? But they've had a couple of weeks of problems, but they seem to be getting their legs under them a little bit with that win against the Lions for sure.
They definitely played good defense in this game. And I was very impressed with their outside corners. I thought, despite what PFF told you, I thought Nick Bolton in the middle of their defense, number 32, had a phenomenal game. He did get burned by Laporta twice in coverage, and I guess that's why he got such a shit grade. But he ruined our run game, and he was in the way of where Goff wanted to go quite a bit too. Yeah. And I thought that their safeties played well. And again, I had this conversation with Russ, and I put it in the Slack today too. I watched the very first Lions offensive play of the game for like 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes today. I was just going over every single thing on it because there is so much on it that is a microcosm of what went wrong for the day.
Yeah.
And it starts with, okay, Tristan Colon, your backup center guard, comes in as your extra offensive lineman. He lines up at right tackle. Penei motions to the other side. He now plays left tackle between Skipper and Mahogany. Your tight ends stay bunched on that side. Well, when you look at the All-22, what happens? The Chiefs don't react to it. Their safeties stay put. What does that tell you? They're ready for the run. Now, this is the problem. Colon blocks well. Penei puts a guy on his ass. Graham Glasgow, great block. But there's two guys on the outside. Amon-Ra's responsible. He's the only out receiver on that side for blocking both of them. He doesn't touch either of them. It's not really on him, though, because Gibbs goes to the right. If he looks to his left, He's got a convoy in front of him. He broke it the wrong way. They made a good tackle. Like, there was so much of the like window dressing, like, oh, we're having a lot of fun with this. That's the trick play goes along with that.
Yep.
And then they didn't execute off of it very well at all. And the Chiefs didn't react to it at all. Good for them. Good for Steve Spagnuolo. He outcoached John Morton in this game pretty damn badly.
Yeah.
And that is something that's very difficult to get away from.
Yeah, they did. Now look, there was a drop. Amon-Ra. How often does he drop a ball? Right, fourth
Exactly.
down. That doesn't happen. Shouldn't have happened. Yeah. Right. It's such a clutch spot. It's one of those things. I always love to use Taylor Decker as an example because everyone, he's a penalty machine. He'd get like a penalty a game back in the day or every other game, and it was holding at the most inopportune time, so it stood out like a sore thumb. Right. If Amon-Ra did drops like that every game, like one drop that was a crucial spot, people would say he's a drop machine. Even if he did everything else the same, right? People would be all over him. It was just really, really inopportune. That stunk, and I feel bad for the guy because you could see on the sideline he was kicking his own ass. Yeah. You know, there's nothing you can say to make it worse for him than what he said to himself there.
I will say, to his credit, after that drop, he was lights out, phenomenal for the rest of the game.
Yep.
He had a bad first half, including that drop.
Yep.
But that was sort of the end of it, and he moved on from it very well. And that's a sign of a true pro.
Yep. There's that.
Yeah,
there's the missing touchdown that we'll touch on later. I mean, there's just, even like Coach said it going in or coming out of halftime, I think is when they interviewed him. There's only really 2 plays or 3 plays where it's a different game in that first half. As bad as they played, it's a different game. And that's one of the things with football, right? It's a game of inches and nuance, and small changes can make a difference. And it can really affect your perception of a game. A team can play bad and still win, right? And we felt that already this year. We've seen they haven't played well, but they did come up, things to clean up, as they talk about, right? That happens. So this was not a game that was unwinnable by this team. Even in the state that they came out, they just on their own without all the other stuff, just to be very, very clear again, they didn't have what it took on the field with the plays that were called and the plays that were enacted to win that game. And the way they were, that's that. And it's you don't expect that, because if the right Detroit Lions team shows up there, they blow that Kansas City team out of the water. The wrong team showed up. And I'm really being clear about this, because some things I want to say later are, I want to really straighten some people's thinking out on what the point is when I get to that. So that's why we're kind of doing this in very clear kind of pillars of conversation.
Yeah, the defense was not great either. Like one of the lapses that he's talking about, Amik Robertson in the red zone. He's got a jam.
Yep.
He turns his head, puts it, whatever, just isn't paying attention for like a split second, and he's fucked.
Yep.
Touchdown. Like you can't have those lapses against good teams. The Chiefs have been in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Like, I think that's a pretty good team. They got a good coach, got an MVP, a quarterback. Like, you can't make those mistakes. And they did. And I know we're missing our corners. The safeties, both of them, and Kirby, we'll talk about it later. Kirby should not have played in this game. He certainly shouldn't have come back in after he tweaked the knee. No, because it shows badly on tape. Branch was not right. I know he played, but you can tell he just didn't have it. Was not his best game, aside from the suspension crap that we're going to talk about later. He didn't have a good game. Like, it looked like he was slow. Just couldn't get the burst, didn't have the read, whatever. It's tough to win that way.
Yeah.
Again, that might be good enough against Cincinnati. It might be good enough against Chicago. If you get it'll be good enough against the Washington team that played Chicago for sure.
Yep.
But you're not going to beat Kansas City. You're not going to beat Tampa Monday night if you play that way.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're right.
And that's where we've got to get to.
And that Tampa team, the one thing about them that's absolutely certain is the grit and hunger that Baker Mayfield has will be on display. It's never not. And he will go the extra.
No chill.
No,
Yes.
no. So that's we'll talk about that as we get into that. Yeah. But look, I see a lot of chat about the refs, right? And absolutely, we're going to cover the refs. We'll talk about that. But it has to be clear, this team and this is why this is really important. This team that came out that we saw in this game didn't beat the Kansas City Chiefs on the field. Refs aside, they didn't beat them on the field, right? This
correct.
is the team that unfortunately cannot show up in the playoffs, and that has, whether it's for a quarter in San Francisco. This is the team that has to disappear, that has to figure it out in those times when it's really, really important. I would rather have 2 more losses in the regular season, get in on a wild card, and not lose in the regular season. Now that's obviously, or in the postseason.
The playoffs,
that's an obvious, that's an obvious statement. Like, hey, who wouldn't want to take you away? But that's the reality is, I would rather this team learn through the losses how not to play like this now rather than then, because it's when we get on. And I love this team for where it's gotten to. I love this team for how far it's gotten, but now is the time to learn from this, and that you cannot do this against teams like this. You cannot allow the refs to even be part of the conversation against teams like this if you expect to win it all. And that's the next step for this Detroit Lions team. They've come miles from the Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn area. They've come miles from the Jim Caldwell, Jeff Schwartz, Bermuda Schwartz era, right? They've come miles from Mariucci era, right? They've come miles and miles, but there's further to go, and it's what they have to do if they want to win the Super Bowl. And that's the next step for this team. That's the next step.
Where we were at.
You can say the NFC Championship is the next step, but the chances are limited, and we're getting to a point where it has to be kind of both. I mean, you get the NFC Championship, that's good, but it's not the big one. It's not the big kahuna. At least you've made the game, right? The big game. But it really is now to put the cap on this and to show where this team is and what this team is made of, and that this coaching and this draft and this front office and all these things are as valid as we believe it is. And it has taken us, again, light years from where we were. They have to stop what we saw on Sunday against teams like the Kansas City Chiefs.
Got to play better. They got to learn from it and regroup and apply what they've learned to playing the Buccaneers. You might see the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. It's a really good football team.
Yeah. Yep.
We are too. We got to play like it.
Yep. So, the Detroit Lions didn't play well enough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You can say they didn't play well enough to beat the Chiefs and the refs. That's on you. I just don't think that they played well enough to beat the team that they were on the field.
The refs were not. They didn't impact the outcome of this game. They didn't. Were they good? No. Have they been worse? Yeah, I think they actually have been worse. Because I will say, in watching I spent a good 14 hours in the last 2 days rewatching this game over and over and over again. Specifically, they missed a lot of calls on Detroit too, y'all. A lot. Dan Skipper had a pretty good game at left tackle because he held his ass off.
Yeah.
There was a lot of holding that they let go there. They missed a couple of just like weird, like there was one where there was a lineman clearly downfield on a pass. They didn't see it. Umpire didn't call it. Like it was not a well officiated game, but it wasn't like partisan wise. I know that there's no flags except
it was
penalty on Chris Jones.
I'm going to get into that, Riz. Don't worry. If anyone here thinks I'm going to let the officiating off the hook, you're sadly mistaken. You are sadly mistaken. But
I thought the only really bad call.
Gotta beat that.
I didn't like the pass interference call on Amik, and I'll say that it should have been defensive holding. And this is and Chris, you know I'm like this. I hate it when they blow the technicality of it. He didn't interfere, pass interference. He was defensive holding. Fucking call the defensive holding.
So
that bugs me so much. You know this about me, Chris. I am very particular on these things. Yeah. I love structure. I love order. I was one of those weirdos. I freaking loved grammar in 8th grade school. Like I raced to Mrs. Ortega's class every day. I freaking love that sort of minutia, like conformity. I love that. That's who I am.
It's funny. You say Mrs. Ortega was your grammar teacher, right? My son had like the equivalent of Mrs. Ortega for English. and Mrs. Smith for Spanish. It was like what? Wait a minute. We have fully integrated. Good work.
I had Miss Carter for Spanish. Shout out to Northland High School in Columbus, Ohio. Go Vikings. Only time I'll ever say "Go Vikings" on this show.
I will go in on the officiating, and Riz, I will disagree on the partisanship of the calls. I will, because like the block in the back on Branch, which maybe led to things out there, that was obvious and uncalled and right in front of a fucking ref. There were some egregious holding calls that broke field and plays wide open for Kansas City that were not called.
Roy Lopez has a couple of
numbers,
couple of arguments there.
The straight up numbers, and you're going to say this is bullshit. And I can go back to the last time we met when the guy was on the right tackle was lining up behind the fucking fullback and nobody was calling that shit for the entire game, right? So I can say there's a pattern here. I'm going to go into it. But there is no question that there was fuckery here. There is no question, and I'll get into it. But I want to talk really quick. Talk about Dan Skipper. There's a perception. I want to ask your perception, Riz. How do you think the Lions fall in the Dan Campbell era, right? As far as injuries and consistency on the offensive line compared to the rest of the NFL?
Well, Panay is very durable, so that's probably gonna skew a lot. Zeitler was a rock. Jonah missed some games. Like, I think they're probably. I'm thinking about the Baltimore Ravens right now, who are missing 3/5 of their offensive line. I think about the New Orleans Saints last year, who started 2 games with none of their 5 starters. So I think we're probably in the middle, maybe slightly above average on that.
Okay. I got a ton of data here, and this is probably like a video. I might give this to you, Riz, to put together, because it's really an interesting analysis.
Starting 15 different offensive line combinations one year.
So this data is really hard to get at because it's not directly tracked, right? So, but from what I've been able to put together, from all the stuff I have, in only the 2023 Bills and 2023 Bengals started the same 5 guys all year during the Dan Campbell era. They're the only teams that started the same 5. The most combinations was the 2023 Jets. We had 13 different combinations, and what I'm accounting for, because like Glasgow goes from guard to center, right? He's the same guy, but he's playing a different. Yes, exactly, yeah, right. Yeah. So so you can get really funny with the numbers. Last year, and let me go back.
Our line was pretty healthy last year, other than, Frank Skipper started 3 games, I want to say.
Yep. Okay, ranked teams heading into 2025 from 2022 through 2024.
Started a couple of games too, I believe.
The top 5 are the Broncos, Bills, Panthers, Rams, and Bucks. Crazy, because the Rams' offensive line is so terrible, but they are consistently the same guys. The bottom 5, the Dolphins, the Bears at the very bottom, also Patriots, Jaguars, and Titans. Okay. So a lot of what you talk about with the Bears could very much be offensive line. Here's where it is. The Detroit Lions are 21st. Okay. Now, here's the wild
lower middle.
Here's the wild part. The reason we're that low, we're super high on continuity for our tackles. Panay and Decker, oddly enough, are some of the least rotated out guys. Now, most of the churn in the offensive line happens in the interior positions because it's a pit, right? It's crazy in there.
Yes.
That's what drags us down so low. And you think about how many guards we've been through, centers, Ragnow retiring, the whole thing, right? That's what drags the whole thing down for continuity, is this interior part of the offensive line for the Detroit Lions. Whole lot of information there. But what I was thinking, that we were probably one of the worst in our offensive line. Like, remember, we'd start the season, oh man, if this line doesn't hold together, we're in trouble. There's no depth, right? Every year we've said that in the Campbell era, and yet we've watched it happen, and they've played well, and it's like, what the heck? But it hasn't really been that much churn. We're all basically mid-pack.
On that front, every team says that. Like if any of our offensive line starters get hurt, we're fucked. Like, all 32 fan bases have that refrain all summer. Every year. That is not unique to Detroit.
Yeah. So I got a ton of data. Like I said, Riz, there's
Bears are good evidence of that being true.
Yep. I mean, this goes back to Halapulavati
Steelers are too.
Vaitai. You know, I forgot he was here when we started.
God,
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
Yeah.
He was. Oh man.
Remember Matt Nelson?
I'd rather not.
Yeah. Okay. Evan Brown.
I still say he should have played. He should have stuck at defense. He was a decent defensive end.
Yep.
Two-way player. Had a chance.
Yep. So anyway, that's the thing. That's the word on the game, and a little bit about the robustness of the offensive line. I guess I could have saved that for when we start talking the injury piece. But I just thought that was really interesting because I was my thing was the point I was going to make is how well Hank has done with that injury kind of front that he's dealt with, right? And he has, because they've performed at an elite level. And I mean, 21st, it's just slightly less than middle of the pack, right? As far as turnover. So we're a little bit worse
middle third.
Middle third. I'll take that than the 50-50. But the performance we've gotten out of this team at OL is top 5, right? So what Hank's been able to do with the guys that he has is absolutely enviable. I think it's a testament to what he's able to do with the talent he has and the churn that he's dealing with. So.
And I will say, I thought the line played well against Kansas City. Other than a couple of plays, and look, Chris Jones, that's a really good football player. George Karlaftis is not a bad football player at all.
No.
Their linebackers are pretty dang good. Like I thought with Skipper being in, with Ratledge and Mahogany both basically being new, I thought they played pretty well up front. They weren't the reason that we lost. Obviously, they gave up pressures to Goff. I don't think it was Goff's best day. Like, he's been better. He didn't get a lot of help from his receivers, but his numbers were fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think John Morton had a good game. I thought he got away from what was working. This is something that Russ and I have been screaming back and forth at each other all day. Like, we are both habitual yellers, even like when we're not angry. That's the way our chat went today.
Yeah, we
were both like, "This is a demo game," and he got 6 touches.
Mm-hmm.
Gibbs clearly not seeing it, not feeling where the defense is vulnerable,
and his strength in the bowling ball run versus the streaky, greasy run. Right? It's the Knuckles versus the Sonic. Knuckles was the play against that defense and the way they were tackling. I mean, we look at it and say it's obvious now, but I mean, the eye test says that's the way it is.
Yeah.
So,
and they were ready for Gibbs more than they were ready for Montgomery. And I don't think the drive before the half and then the drive after the half, where we started doing all the dumbass lame screen passes and Goff getting the ball out right away. Chiefs were sitting waiting for it.
Yep.
Like, that's not what you do. It was working going down the field, hitting Laporta. When Laporta and Jamo were working in the middle of the field, making their linebackers and safeties make decisions, it looked very good. When they didn't do that, you wound up getting 1-on-1 or 1-on-2s on the outside. Didn't work very well.
I want to call it independent.
That's how you lose game.
Independent Aquaman here. This is the same officiating crew that was prevented from reffing the 2024 playoffs due to trying to help the Seahawks beat the Lions in 2023. This officiating crew.
I didn't know that.
This officiating crew maybe has a chip on their shoulder, right? This is where questions come in.
You know what? I don't think they're smart enough to know that, honestly. I don't.
If they were prevented from reffing in the playoffs, they know why, and they were told.
They would probably know that.
Yeah, and that's.
I don't know that's true.
That they lost. Yeah, well, we'll check into that. I don't have that in my stack that I'm going to talk about, but we will get into the rest. But from there, let's say, okay, the Lions on the field as the game was played did not play well enough to beat the Chiefs, and some people will say the Chiefs and the refs. Fine, they didn't beat either of them. You have to. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you have to be able to beat both. Every team does, and that's the bottom line. That's table stakes. You have to beat both. If you can't, you're not going to make it. It's the bottom line.
Yep.
You have to steal it. You have to take it from whoever you want to be the man. You got to beat the man. And whatever it takes to do it, you have to do it. So, all right, we'll get on
Thank
to
you
it.
for not doing a Ric Flair impersonation there.
Oh, we're not done with the show yet, my friend. Suspensions,
Dear Lord.
injuries, and return, also known as SIR. Suspensions, we'll start off the obvious one. Again, I talk about part of the strategy and I don't know for a fact, don't have the tapes. Love to get my hands on microphone tapes and audio tapes from on the field level.
I hope Bryant was mic'd up. That'd be glorious if it was him.
If he was, they're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We will never see it if he was. That's for damn sure.
The NFL will stop that too. They're crooked.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So Brian Branch suspended. I gotta say, I would be pretty fucking hot if I was him and took that shot in the back. All the other junk, the Mahomes, spin the ball, dust yourself off, point at him, flex, the whole thing, taunting in just about any other game I'd have seen. Taunting, right? No call, walks away. The shot in the back that he took, no call, right? He could have been injured there. That was a serious infraction. I will never ever forget Seattle's cheap ass shit against Tyrell Williams. Tyrell Walker, sorry. Yeah. I might forget his name, but Tyrell Walker, the cheap ass shot, they broke his leg
and
on.
Ended his career.
And we just supposed to whistle past that and act like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
No call. Right? I believe there was no call on that if I remember right. But anyway, even with that going on, the shot that he took was absolute bullshit. And I can get where the anger is. I feel it myself. I'm not on the field though. He's on the field and he's the one that gets that paycheck and he's the one that has to check those. He can't let that get to him. He's got to do it between the whistles, between the lines. Keep putting those hits on those guys. Make them legal, but make them hurt, right? Do that Brian Branch game. Knock that ball out of their hands. Steal the ball. Pick it up. Do all the things that drive them nuts. Beat them with your play because Brian Branch, you can do it, but you can't do it with your fists after the game because everything else that happened now gets wiped off the board and it doesn't matter because all anybody knows is, oh, you hit Juju. Like, what do you do? What do you do with that?
The amount of Steelers fans who are like, hit him again. It's pretty funny to me. But this is Branch's 11th infraction since the beginning of the 2024 season. He's been fined 10 times. This is Draymond Green territory. Like, you're going to get, and look, I can't stand Draymond Green, but I will forever owe him a debt of gratitude for getting suspended for Game 6 of the 2016 NBA Finals because he couldn't stop kicking people in the package. And that allowed the Cavs to win, and then we won Game 7. So thank you, Draymond, for being a complete flaming ass because Cleveland owes you a title, my hometown, my beloved Cavs. We won because of that. I don't want Brian Branch to be that guy who allows another team to win because he can't keep his head. And he has proven it time and time again. He can get baited.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Juju had that in mind, but it worked.
When he stepped over him afterwards, thank you, Hodges, for reminding me, the step over him after the shot in the back, that's baiting. Yeah. And that's, like, again, that's one play. But if you look at this throughout the game, and you can tell they knew they could do it to Branch. Mahomes did it to Branch, right?
Yes.
They knew that was a weakness, and I think they targeted it.
Yeah,
I think they targeted him.
And you better believe that other teams are going to target that. You don't 100%. Think the Bears are going to do that? You don't think Ben Johnson knows that?
They have seen the tape. Even if they don't have the insider knowledge of having worked with him, now everybody's seen the tape. And, that's how you beat Brian Branch. You beat him in the head. You don't beat him on the field.
Yep.
He's going to have
he's a great player.
He's going to have a tough couple of years if he doesn't get his head around that. Like, if he doesn't stop that right now and stop reacting right now, he's going to be tested for the next couple of years. Teams are going to continue, probably for the rest of his career, to see if they can get him off his game and get him to react because he's too good to beat.
Let me ask you this, Chris, because this has come up in discussions I've been in. Do you think this plays a role in the Lions re-signing him or not? I don't have a good feel for that.
I think so. Here's where it is. The Lions are a team about recovery and redemption. when they drafted him and he stayed there, it says a lot about his character, right? His love of the game of football is there. His character, he's a high character guy. It's a passion.
Yes, he is.
When he gets on the field, there's a switch that flips. And a lot of guys have a switch that flips for different reasons.
We know that very well.
Yes.
He's another one.
He has to get it. His rebound on this will absolutely, I think, affect that. And it, like, you look at JMO, right? I'm telling you, he sleeping in meetings in his rookie season. How do you recover from that and get the contract that he did? Through your behavior.
You can be Tua.
Yeah, exactly. Through your behavior. And that's what's going to happen. He's going to have to show through his behavior that he can be re-signed. I don't think it's a problem. I just think he's got to get his arms around it, right? Or his brain around it. Whatever it is, he's got to get it under control. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I like I said, I really have a feel for, like, I don't think they're there yet, but it is getting to be that time. Like, I wonder if that lowers his price tag. I don't know. I'm just sort of thinking out loud there, and other people have thought it out loud to me as well. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. So I wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah. I'm seeing Hodges, another good one in the chat. Campbell will have Branch prepared to deal with his current issues. I feel Branch can overcome this and control himself in the future. Yeah, if anybody can, Campbell can. I mean, he's the guy. And I think what he said in the interviews today and how he handled it immediately after the game, he gave him the spanking, we'll say, that he needed to get.
The quote after the game that this is inexcusable, that this is not what we do here. Yep. And there was a lot of people talking as I went to the radio station on Monday that, like, the Lions might suspend Branch if the league doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, just so he gets it.
Yep.
And I was very surprised that he appealed kind of from that, because, like, I think the team might have been like, you know what? Maybe you should sit, you know?
So with the injury on top of it, you had all kinds of reasons at how you could spin that to make him sit. You know what I mean? They could easily have done that.
He does need to sit for the injury anyway. By the way, as Chris, I put this in, like, I was told Thursday that he wasn't going to play, that he was not healthy enough to play, that the foot was not good. And
he looked like a scalded dog after he heard from Campbell after the game. And you could tell it shook him. He was shook. He was shook. But then Campbell today, the support he gave him, right, is the other part of, look, when you make a mistake, you're not getting off the hook because you're a great player. Nobody is above the wrath of Campbell, right?
This is not Miami.
Yeah. But we also know that you're a human being and a man, and you can recover. And you're one of us. You're part of the team, right? And I think everybody gets, however many chances for whatever reasons, but they are absolutely going to be told when they are out of line. And I think that's what happened with Branch. And I think this is a very, this again, a lot of people don't like to talk about leadership stuff, but that's exactly what this is. This is high quality leadership to help somebody be better and to learn and improve themselves and not feel alienated because they made that mistake.
And I see it in the chat here. The whole league is catching up with this. He's going to have to learn how to do it. That's 100% correct. He's going to get challenged on this every week now. He's got to show that he can handle that. Otherwise, it's not going to end well for him. And it sucks because he's a fantastic player. And the Lions are so much better with him. But if he's losing his head, you can't double fist salute the Green Bay faithful, as fun as that was, much as I enjoyed it. Like, he can't be that guy anymore. He just can't. It's got to stop.
Hodges is on it here. Any parent who has to apologize for their kid's behavior knows exactly what Campbell was going through. That's exactly it, man. And for him, I truly believe that he thinks of these guys very much as his family, like his offspring. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's a really good analogy. Hodges on fire today.
Appreciate it, Mike. Mike's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so there we are. That's a suspension. That's gonna sting. He's a guy that would be really helpful against the likes of a Baker Mayfield. We're gonna have to do without. We have some injuries in the secondary. Let's talk about Kirby because he's the other one that is important.
Oh God, Kirby was so slow to react from a high safety role. Like, if the way that they played zone required him to be proactive, and he just couldn't be. Like when he hurt the knee, and Dr. Jimmy Leal is going to go much more into detail on this on stuff that he does for Lions Wire, but because I've asked him to, he's awesome, so he will. He was maybe 60%, and after that he wasn't that. Like, play Thomas Harper. Like, just get him out there and see what he can do. Play Eric Hallett. Move Rock. Rock did not have a good game at outside corner.
No.
Maybe move him to safety in that game. Play Whiteside more. Whiteside came in, did okay.
Yeah.
But Thomas Harper, aside from the pass breakup that he had on that one, that was a great play.
Get away from the three linebackers.
He played pretty well. I'm curious. I'm morbidly excited to see how Thomas Harper does as a starting safety this week, because I thought he did some good things. And I remember going to watch him at Notre Dame. I'm like, he was their slot primarily, but he was sort of the attack slot there, which is where Branch is at his best. Like,
Yep.
let's see what this dude can do, you know? And if we're without Kirby, okay, that sucks. We're down our entire starting secondary. And remember, the Lions play a 4-3 now.
Yep.
They don't play the 4-2-5 anymore. They are in 4-3. I think they're second in use of three linebackers this year.
Yep.
That data's from last week. I don't know what this weekend skewed it for, but that's still not good. It's not good at all. The only saving grace is that Tampa Bay ended Sunday without their top four receivers on the field.
Yeah.
At least one of them won't be back.
Yeah.
That's the only saving grace there.
Yeah. Yeah. Injuries are a problem again.
And their left tackle is a revolving door, and it's a bad door.
Yeah. Yeah. Hutch played really well. Loved Hutch out there. The defensive line,
he brought it. He
knocking that ball out
the way that he wanted to, but he played pretty well.
Knocking that ball out the way he did. And
that's the luck right there. Like, that ball bounced right back to Mahomes.
That bounces.
How does that
exactly.
happen?
Yep.
Like, yep. I forget which lion was there, but like, there's a lion that's right there to pounce on it. Nope. Mahomes, it
right back up
bounces right back into Mahomes' lap. Like,
yep. That's the
the breaks, man.
That's the breaks. Yeah, and that's just kind of the story of the day. That's how the day went. So
it was.
I would also question the Kelsey catch, but I think that's a 50-50 job. I mean, you can say it was a catch or it wasn't a catch because it is subjective.
That was not a catch. That was not a catch.
Did he have control of the ball?
No.
You could say he did.
I don't think so.
Look, my Homer says no, it wasn't. My brain says it's a 50-50. It's a subjective call. It could go either way, and they just happen to take it that way.
And I will give Jonathan Vilma some credit here for his analysis, because he has said this in the past. When you see a team rushing up to the line, it means they know that it wasn't a catch. He's right.
He's mostly right.
I said something nice about Jonathan Vilma. The Lord's going to strike me down.
He should. He's mostly right, because sometimes they don't know either, and they just want to take the benefit of the play.
Yes, that's true.
And I will say that's something the Lions suck at. The Lions are terrible.
Yes,
at that.
we do not
for years
do that
they've
well.
Sucked at that. Yeah,
we do not do that well. That's very true.
Yep.
That is a hole in Dan Campbell's arsenal.
Yep,
for sure.
Yep. All right, so there's that. Let's get into the injuries. We got that. Is there anything else on the injury front you want to talk about, Riz? I'm gonna kind of give you the mic because I've been monopolizing it today.
The only thing to worry about there, Mahogany got dinged, and Dr. Leal seemed to be more concerned about this than I was initially. So that bears watching if he's going to practice this week. Look, we're not going to see Joseph. We're not going to see Kirby. We're not going to see Decker play this week. But we got somebody coming back, and that makes me very.
Let's talk about returns. Many happy returns.
Yes.
There's a young fella coming. One of my favorite players on the team, as a matter of fact. It's not often you say that about a defensive tackle either, right? I mean, but Aleem motherfucker McNeil is coming back, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't wait. Aleem, Tyleek, I've heard of his name.
Reader.
Hutchinson. Reader.
Muhammad.
Hutchinson.
Roy Lopez played well this week too. I got to give him credit for that. He had a good game.
Like, we've got a formidable defensive line.
Yes.
Like, nobody talked about that. We're hitting the stride with our defensive line right now. That
Muhammad had a decent game.
He's had a good season.
Pat O'Connor is good for 10 to 12 plays a game. Probably not 20 to 25, but okay, this moves him back to that role.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. A Big Mac Attack is back. Oh, he goes to the Mac Attack.
So happy
McNeil is back. I love it. And I love him because he plays with the same ferocity that like a Brian Branch does, but his personality, he's just a lovable fucking teddy bear, man. I absolutely
fun,
he's fantastic, man. McNeil is, like I said, one of my very, very favorite players on the team. I love that guy.
Gets it.
He's good.
He really does get it. And I will just posit this. They've been playing a lot of the 3-man but 5-man front. Your 3-man front of Reader flanked by Aleem and Tyleek with AQM over here and Hutch over here. That's a nightmare to block. Nightmare. You try to block that with 5, your quarterback's going to die.
Yeah.
That's just the way that's going to happen. It's fact.
Yep.
Like,
even a mobile quarterback.
I love that.
Even a mobile quarterback, and this is the thing.
Even Baker Mayfield,
Yep.
He's sneakily elusive.
Yeah.
As
Well,
he
one of
showed
the
in
things that
this
always
week.
has burnt us about the with those kind of quarterbacks, we've gotten into this role where we just want to contain them and make them throw the ball, make them one dimensional, and then lean on the secondary, right? And where our secondary is right now, that's not the recipe, right? That's not the recipe.
Let him run.
But you can't. No, you don't want them to run either because we can't seem to defend that. But with a line like that, with a lineup like that, you can not only contain, but you can collapse. And that's the part that's going to give you the help you need. Yep. Yep. So I'm really interested to see the difference this year versus last year and the year before on how this Lions defense handles the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's gonna be really, really interesting. We'll talk about that as we do the look at.
And again, their offensive line is depleted. Their wide receiving core, it was ravaged, much like our secondary. So it'll be fun to see. I think these are the 2 best teams in the NFC. It's gonna be a great game. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Can I just laugh? I mean, look, yeah, we lost to the Chiefs, but the Eagles lost to the Giants.
Badly. Like the Giants were the better team.
The Giants were
Chris is
the
a
worst
maniac.
team in football. I hate Philadelphia. Just for the record, I hate Philadelphia.
It seems like AJ Brown does too.
Good.
So
Good. More of that.
chemistry is coming apart a little bit. They're being tested.
Yep.
Let's see how they respond to this test. Let's see how Nick Sirianni handles the alleged internal strife and the fact that they are not playing particularly good football. They can't run the ball. Their defensive line losses are hurting a lot more than most people thought, self included.
Yep.
You watch Buffalo lose this week. Best team in the AFC? Maybe not.
Did not expect. So there it is, though. That's the AFC equivalent to the Lions losing.
Yeah,
you had a great team lose, right? They lost to the Falcons, which are not the equivalent of the Kansas City Chiefs to be from a talent perspective. But, and that's why I think, like, if you look at the Lions,
Falcons lost 30-0 to the Panthers, dude.
Yeah. That's why I would look at this and say the Lions loss was probably the best of all those losses. Because at least it was up against a viable team. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you want to throw Washington into the playoff elite, and I don't think they're there, but Chicago beat them. I know we don't like to talk nice about Chicago, but Chicago was the better team against Washington, like pretty clearly.
Yeah.
Like that's not really something that we all expect. That's certainly not something that Washington expected.
Well, I think the thing is that rain with that fumble on that last drive of Washington cost them the game. If there's no rain, they run that clock out and the game's over. So that kind of stinks. But
I got to give it up. I have been a longtime harsh critic of DeAndre Swift. That man had a very good game Monday night. I give him credit for that. He played very well.
He could have done it in Detroit sometime. Oh no, Glass Joe over
He
here.
did like twice in 4 years.
Glass
He had his
Joe.
moments.
He had more injuries than great games. Let's stop that.
It's still crazy. And Chris, you know this is true. Ben hated him when he was here.
Yeah.
Hated him. Like, I can't believe that they're making that work. I really can't. That, I guess, is a credit to Ben and Swift, like, working it out. Like, again, I don't like to say nice things about the Bears. I know that the audience doesn't like it, but I thought that was going to be a massive disaster, like immediate blow up.
Yeah.
And to their credit,
In Washington.
it's not been that.
In Washington, they did that too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they did.
okay.
I'll be dipped. Wonders never cease.
So there we go.
Squirrels and nuts.
We got that covered. I want to really quick hit the thing. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Don't forget, get all your Halloween candy, get all your Halloween costumes, get all your Thanksgiving cookware, get all your gifts and everything else that you get and all your stuff for
Novelty
yourself.
ducks.
And your novelty ducks.
Well,
Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Doesn't cost you any more. It takes you right to
My writing
Amazon.
mascot.
And it will
Keep forgetting
put a
I'm Mirror.
little bit of Jeff Bezos' profit. He takes a little, they take a little away from him, give it to us. You can help the show by doing something you were going to do anyway. Just remember, Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Thank you very much, everyone who has been using that. I appreciate you. All right.
Yes,
Let's
we
get
do.
to it.
Oh, by the way, Peaceful Tim, happy anniversary, dude.
Yes.
Congrats.
The NFL controversy is not being reported. You're hearing it locally. You're hearing it on Twitter. Nationally, it's not being touched.
God.
It's not being touched. And
Twitter was a minefield today, and I walked into it, and that's my bad.
And
I know better. I do know better.
This is one of the reasons that I wanted to be very, very clear up front about the Lions losing the game. Okay.
Already getting hot. I got to take my sweatshirt off.
Yeah. There's another part of this that people use as a red herring type of argument against why this isn't real or whatever. And I'm going to address that when we talk about this right now, but I'm going to talk about, the calls are coming from New York. This is the title of this episode, and this is why. And Riz, I'm going to do this. And I don't want you to, the NFL can be a fickle bitch.
I will hold my wad.
And I think that's why the national media is a little bit quiet on it as well. But we'll leave that, as it is. We're obviously talking about the Goff play. Okay. And again, I'm going to say that play did not change the game. Maybe it could have, but that's not why I'm talking about it. It has nothing to do with that. And that's why I wanted to, again, be very clear up front about the Lions lost the game on the field with the plays that were played. Okay. This Goff call, though, the way it went down, 1 minute and 17 seconds from the end of the play till the flag was thrown. Okay. Very, very suspicious. We, particularly as Lions fans, are extremely familiar with we throw a flag and then we pick it up. If we see something as refs, we throw a flag. And then the conversation is whether or not it was actually a flag and we pick it up. We throw a flag this much later after a play is the first key indicator of fuckery that you're going to find. The late pass interference calls are pretty egregious in this way too. You'll see him. Oh, you're just fumbling for his. No, he wasn't. He waited to see what happened and then threw it out. That's just like, that seems really, but okay, it's explainable. I've seen something that 1 minute and 17 seconds till the flag is thrown. That did not come out of the officials' conversation on the field. Dan Campbell, no liar, right? No. Dan Campbell is the most honest person in the room, in any room
Dan
he's
Campbell
probably
gets
in.
criticized for being too honest, for being
He was told
integrity.
He was told that the call came from New York. Now,
Right. On the field, he was told that.
The ref after the game said it didn't. Now, I'm unfortunately for the league, because of all the fuckery we've seen, and this is not fandom talking, I have a lot more credibility and faith in Dan Campbell's word than I do of these officials. And the officials are quiet, and they get to be quiet, and they get to silence Dan Campbell. If you heard him on the radio today, he's like, I can't talk about that when they wanted to get into some of the details of it. Because why? Because they're going to take money from him. They're going to take money from him and say it's detrimental to the game. Not that what the refs did, who were already previously suspended from reffing in the playoffs, not that what they did wasn't detrimental to the game. Oh, but we can't question it. Well, that's kind of interesting. The call obviously came from New York. Now, here's the thing that a lot of red herring dick biscuits are going to tell you. Well, every scoring play is reviewed, Risdon. Every scoring play is reviewed. That is correct. But they don't review them to find non-reviewable penalties. That's not what the review is. The review is, did they get the ball past the plane of the goal line? And that's what they reviewed. For New York to overstep their own rules, the league rules, and step in and make the change. Again, I'm not saying this changed the outcome of the game, but this fucking puts the question of the integrity of the entire NFL and officials, because it came from New York. It wasn't the guys in the field that were fucking up or making bets. This was New York that made the decision. That's where the key point of this is. This puts the whole league on blast. And the questions now pop up. Oh, betting's legal as hell. No penalties. After a 9-penalty game, no penalties. Obvious penalties. Shots in the back. The whole thing we talked about. No penalties. Oh, by the way, I've seen a million replays of this being run by other teams, by the Patriots, by, I forget who the other team was, whatever. But at least 2 teams. I said a million, but at least 2 teams. I've seen this play run without the quarterback ever stopping and actually starting under center, and no call, right? Referees mix up calls all the time. They mixed up this call, but New York told them to change it. That is the problem. This isn't a problem of whether the Lions won or lost. We just happened to see it because it was the Lions game. This is a crucial break and problem with the NFL right now, because it literally unbelievable. You cannot believe what you're seeing is actually the result of the capabilities of men and their skill on the field. And I know, Riz, like, you don't want to get into this game of questioning the league, but New York made this call, and now they're denying it, and now they're shutting everybody up. And you know what that means? That's not an apology letter. An apology letter, hey, while it doesn't fix anything, it says, we fucked it up. We really did make the mistake. They will
tacitly acknowledge that they did it.
Hiding it and covering it up is worse. Actually
so much worse.
It's indicative of a deeper problem.
Chris, do you remember when we flew together to New Orleans for the Senior Bowl on a fateful day where the
Hold on. Fuck off, Steve Wordlife. Fuck off. I told you in the beginning it didn't change the game. I've said it multiple times here. So that whole bullshit fucking line, oh, golf was an illegal motion. Not reviewable. Not fucking reviewable. New York changed the play from the fucking... This is not about that play.
That play happens to be
the test tube that this experiment happened in. But the fucking reality is the NFL league office cheated. Cheated.
If that's not called on the field, the league cannot call that in that they can't do that. Like, that's against their own rules.
Get the dick out of your mouth, Steve. God almighty.
This is
problematic, dude.
Really hung up on that. And as you know, Chris, I love procedure. Yeah. I am a conformist at heart.
Yeah.
When you break conformity like that, you can't do that.
This is different than the refs made a mistake on the field. And none of this matters. I see Rick C. None of this matters about the effect on the game. I mean, it does as fans, okay? But take a step back and think about it bigger as far as the league and the integrity. And, oh, by the way, we're embracing gambling. We're embracing gambling as a fucking league. And now it's potentially looking like it's fixed.
Got preseason basketball on over here. There's an ad for DraftKings followed by an ad for FanDuel, like there.
Yeah. And now, like, this is not okay. Just go full in and admit it, like the wrestling. WWE or whatever the fuck it's called today, right? Go and admit it that it's fake and it's scripted, and that's fine, right? But do not make like it's real and then embrace betting like this and gambling like this, because this
you can't violate your own rules in this context. You can't do that. You can't do it. It's inconsequential how the outcome of the game is. It's inconsequential who was playing in it. The NFL cannot make that precedent. This is it's one of the things that that we love about the NFL is that we generally trust the Shield, perhaps foolishly. And maybe this opens some eyes about that. But the way that they are protecting the Shield on this when the Shield did wrong is very troublesome to me personally, and it should be to fans of every team, because it might be the Lions this time. It might be the Saints next time. It might be the Cardinals next time. It might be the Bears next time. You never know.
Eventually, it'll be the Chiefs. That's the thing. Eventually, they're not going to be the darlings.
Probably not while Mahomes is there.
Right.
But I will go back so there is some precedent towards this. This is a game that I covered. Cleveland versus the then Oakland Raiders. I believe it was the last year that the Raiders were in Oakland. And the spot on the field was set for play after a successful fourth down conversion by Browns running back Kareem Hunt. And the league buzzed in and moved the ball back 1.5 yards. And the issue was that it was straddling a yard line. I think it was the 30-yard line. And they put it on the wrong side. And the Browns absolutely lost that game specifically because of that call. This is a run out the clock situation, and they wound up turning the ball over there. And then the league, they did what you said, Chris. They send you the league of, we're sorry we messed up on this. Well, Hugh Jackson lost his job, y'all. There are real consequences to this. I know most people don't give a shit about the Browns or the Raiders. I don't really either.
Right.
But you can't do those things as a league and expect people to take you seriously. Expect people to trust you.
And here's the thing.
You can't do that.
Here's the thing. We always get to hear the comms in the old XFL between the refs. I want the tapes.
I'm glad you brought that up.
They put the communications.
They
put the comms in the ear of the refs a couple of years ago. We need to hear the tapes. The tapes, I bet, and this is where I think the real buggery is, that if you start getting the tapes of New York talking to the refs on the games, I have a feeling you're going to see a whole lot of bullshit. Even if they're getting the calls right, it's against their own rules. And it is absolutely against the integrity of game. And they're lying to the people and changing games, right? They are changing outcomes. I just saw it was plus 5,000 for Goff to have a touchdown on the first drive, and someone had, a bunch of money on it, or plus 9,000, whatever the number was. And then they took it away, right? Was that the reason? Who knows? It's out there, right? Somebody had a lot of money on it. It's a bet that was out there. But this is the kind of thing. And look, yeah, I know the NFL is sports entertainment. I know it is. But this is not how they represent themselves. So they represent themselves, especially with betting, right? With gambling as a part of it. This is represented as a fair arbitration of rules. If it is not
completely altruistic,
yep,
and above board,
it's
you can't question it.
It's kind of fraudulent.
It's kind of fraudulent. Shield protects itself.
Yep.
That's not a road that the NFL needs to go down.
No.
And they're speeding down it right now, unfortunately.
Yep.
That's very disappointing.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing that can take something that, I love the NFL. I love the game of football. And this is the kind of thing and the kind of scandal that can just tear it out. I used to love baseball until the strike in, what was it, 92? Was it around 94. Then? 94.
94.
I rarely watched it since then. I was so fucking pissed, and I took years off, and now I'll watch some Tigers here and there, and then playoffs when they play, I'll get into it. But it ruined it for me. It absolutely ruined it for me. And this is what the NFL risk. I don't know if the MLB has ever been the same since then. I mean, they've had ebbs and flows, but I don't know that they've regained the popularity as far as a percentage of the population. The viewership is probably totally going up because the total market has increased in size. But as a percentage of the market, I don't know that they've ever recovered. And they're the kind of crown jewel of sports, right? America's pastime, that's all gone, right? That's all gone. It's everyone looks at the NFL as America's sport.
They're a very distant third behind the NFL and the NBA. And by the way, the NBA has gone through their gambling scandal. Read the Tim Donaghy book.
Yep.
It's fascinating. It's not particularly a fun read, but it's a very interesting one. And it shows how easy it is for even one person to completely manipulate it from the inside out. And I don't want to accuse any NFL official of doing that, but
he
laid out the blueprint for how it's done.
You have to stand above the question of impropriety. You have to stand where there's not even a question of that. And that's why like the open mics and all that, or releasing the audio tapes, right, would be really, really big to kind of opening up and increasing that transparency and that trust in what you have. The fact that you see something like this, which is very, very obvious. It is very, very obvious that New York made this call. And there's no other thing that you can take away is that this was changed illegally according to their own rules. And this is the kind of stuff that it just
a couple of points that have come up in conversations that I've had today and arguments that I've had today. The pool reporter for this was Matt Derrick. He runs Chiefs Kingdom. He's a good dude. He asks good questions. I have the complete transcript in front of me. By the way, the Lions sent this out. They don't normally send these out, and they sent this out to us. I think that was intentional.
I will tell you the other part that the NFL has in its favor, right? And this is, look, it doesn't matter where you sit on the political spectrum, you're being propagandized by your news. I mean, that's just the way the world is now. That's how news is set up in the States. It's all ad driven, and you pick your market and you kowtow to that base. It doesn't matter. The NFL has a captured media. The media is wholly and totally captured by the NFL. Credentials are handled by the NFL. The NFL and the teams can take away your credentials if they don't like the way you're reporting. A lot of times fans will stand behind it. When 97.1 was dogging on them, look when they lost the broadcast rights, right? You see that.
They did. Yes, they did.
Yes.
Indeed.
You have to wonder, again, you want to stay above the option that people would think there's impropriety. You want to stay above that. And then you see the national media isn't talking about this. And this is a big deal. This is a huge story because the NFL in New York changed the call on the field. Everybody nationally should be talking about this and questioning it and finding out what's going on. And it's crickets because the media is completely captured.
I won't say that. Like there have been people, Florio has been on it, and I don't really like being associated with Florio, but he's doing a good job here. I listened to a little bit of the Mad Dog radio show today in their mid-afternoon segment, and I apologize, I don't know who the host is. It's the guy on after Adam Shine, who I can't stand. And he brought it up, and he talked a lot about it. It's out there. I will say that the thing that I wrote for Lions Wire has done incredible business for me, which is nice. I would assume that Jeremy at Pride of Detroit, John at SI, Burkett. By the way, Burkett did request. He asked the NFL, and they gave him sort of the no comment, fuck off type thing. But good for Dave for doing that. He has that power as a.
I'm going to talk about the entirety. I'm not going to single anybody out. Okay. But the majority of people are just stenographers. They just sit there in the thing and they take down the notes and they sit in the press box and they watch the game from the press box, which isn't the best view either, to be frank, right?
It is not.
So hold on. Yeah.
Why I don't go.
Not the best view. And
one of the reasons why I don't go.
What is it really? It's a club. It's guys hanging out
Echo
together.
Chamber.
Yep. It's and boy, when you create that, and you have control over who's in and who's not without specifically controlling the narrative. You can control the narrative. And that's pretty interesting. So I will say, again, if you look at what most of the reporting is from the people in there, and there are some very good reporters, we're on the record as talking about some of them, but I'm not going to call anyone out either way right now because I don't want anyone to get left out or think they're included in something else. But the vast majority of those people in there are stenographers. The guy, do you think, feasibly, the questions in the post game that we hear are ridiculous? How does it feel to, come on, this is ridiculous.
Chris, I will say,
mostly, mostly, they don't do reporting where they make stories via interview, break stories via, and it's not at all. It is a club of people that go with the narratives that's placed in front of them. Who's available to talk, right? It's all follow the leader. There's no real unique story on any news day about the Lions. Every outlet has basically the same stuff, right?
Yeah,
it's propaganda and it's controlled. And
I wouldn't say that. I would say that there's just not a lot of accessibility to do more, and I'll be frank, the audience doesn't give a shit. We do things like when we do things like that, nobody fucking reads it. Nobody reads it. It's crickets, man. I put up a thing today, 7 potential trade targets for the Lions. It's going fucking bananas. Like, I don't expect any of those guys to get traded for it, but it's great for business. If I do an in-depth sit down, I did one with Craig Reynolds 3 years ago. Like 300 people read it.
There's a reason we work together.
People don't
care. we work together for a reason, right? And integrity is one of those reasons. But the idea, it's really changed. The profession has changed over the years. I don't necessarily blame the people that are doing the work either. So I want to get that straight. It's just that the profession has changed because of how the money is generated, the lack of separation between the ads, the revenue side, and the news side. That break is completely gone, right? All the motivations and incentives are completely different now. And so it's, in a controlled environment like this where you can control who's covering and the thrill of being in the room is what you see is the same stuff out of everybody except a very, very few. It's really, it kind of forms this. And then that's how you get control over something like this, by not reporting. Not reporting is something that is just as important as what is reported. And that's why, yes, there are a few people covering this, but this should be across the national media because this is absolutely scandalous. This is scandalous.
And just to go back to and peace Tim, thank you for the kind words. And one of the reasons why I don't typically go to Allen Park during the season is because I don't want to be part of that. Yeah. Because I hate to admit this, I will succumb to that. I will get into the group think and I will buy into it too much. I see that in myself, and I'm capable of recognizing when we're in training camp and I'm talking to whoever every day in, day out. And I let that form my opinion. And there are times, this also happens a lot in the NFL draft media. And probably worse, quite frankly, because we are a
school of fish.
Yes, we are we are all privy to basically the exact same information and same sources. So we wind up being sort of an echo chamber amongst one another. And when one of us goes rogue, we tend to take shit from our friends and colleagues in that. And most of it's good nature. But I'll go back to when I did not have Zach Wilson as one of my top 200 players when he went number 2 overall. And I took so much crap for that. And there are times when I'm on the wrong end of that too. I didn't have Josh Allen as I think he was number 7 in my quarterback rankings. Obviously, that looks absurdly stupid right now.
Riz, you saw the pictures I had of that team's draft boards that I stole I took on the plane flight out of Mobile. I got, and I know who it is. I'm not going to say who it is. I know the team. I can tell you the whole thing. I have picture after
I
picture.
know who the
after
person
picture.
is, Chris.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. I have picture after picture after picture of their draft board, the system, how it works, the whole thing, the rankings, the whole ball of wax. Didn't report it because pulling something like that out, you wouldn't feel the wrath.
That's somebody's livelihood. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
but
well,
but,
and that's a
but
lot
the
of what
point
we're
is
touching on.
that there is an echo chamber. There is a collective groupthink, and whether people like realize it or not, that is not unique to Detroit. I've been in the press in Houston. I've been in the press in Cleveland. I've been in the press in Cincinnati. I've been there in Indianapolis at times. Like every place has that. It's sort of the way that things happen. But again, I will say this from being on the production end of things, like fans don't read it or don't seem to care when somebody breaks out and tries something different or tries a different angle on something. Like they're like, oh, what are you doing? Like fans, I'm saying, like readers, people who pay my paychecks, like y'all don't read that. So that's one of the reasons, and that's not just me. That's everybody. Why am I going to write something if nobody's going to read it? Like, yeah. So some of that gets reflected back on the fans too, because there's 100%. A lot of that. And it's frustrating as hell because there are times when we want to do it. Like I did a film review. I'm still writing it today because I procrastinated and argued with people on Twitter too much. But I will write that, and it will get, let's say, X number of reads. I did the thing on Branch's suspension right after the game. It blew the hell up. I spend hours on post-game takeaways, things like that. They don't get reads. I write about, I've said this before, Chris, you know this, the most read thing I've ever done. Simone Biles was a guest cheerleader for the Houston Texans.
Yep.
That is still the number one story ever on Texans Wire. I wrote that in 2017.
Yep.
Like I got millions of hits. Most of the things, I'll peel back the veil a bit. Most of the things that I write get between 15 and 25,000 views. If I get something that gets over 50, I'm really happy. When I write something and it gets 400, I'm not going to do that again. That's what happens when you do player interviews. That's what happens when you do, I did a side interview with Dave Phipp once. It was great stuff. Nobody touched it. Nobody cared. Yep. So if you want these things to change, pay attention to when me or Justin or Jeremy or Dave or anybody, Ben Raven loves to do this stuff too, and he gets squashed on it because nobody reads it, and editors, they don't like that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. When you see somebody doing something, reward it. Please. Yep. Yeah. We collectively beg you.
So
because that is part of why you're not getting what Chris is talking about here, what we allege to want. Because you're telling us with what you click on and what you don't, that you don't care. And that's incredibly frustrating.
It's two things.
It's awful, honestly.
I got to hit two things. Jeff Morrell, when sports reporters go full private investigators, they go missing. And I just want to say, just for the record, I am not suicidal. I am super happy. My family's all happy. We're all very good, happy people. There should never, no one's contemplating anything bad. So if something happens, you know who did it. Number one, because we live in a crazy world right now. Number two,
yes.
We're mostly ignored by the media. And I have a sense that something like this is going to get picked up because it hits really close to home, it hits a nerve, and people are going to flip out. The reaction to this is going to be just as illustrative as the concept of what was talked about. If it goes on like everything else, okay, cool. I'll be wrong. That's fine, right? But I don't think it will. I think people are going to get seen, are going to feel seen, and they're going to not be able to help themselves and have to react. And that's too bad. But that's why it was very important to me to not name names one way or the other, because you risk leaving somebody out. I'm certain I said something wrong in the midst of a rant that happens, whatever. But the context of what I said is absolutely spot on. I absolutely stand behind it.
It's funny you bring that up, like leaving people out. I didn't mention Colton Pouncey. Colton Pouncey does fantastic work for the Athletic.
We don't
and
name
he's done a
names
lot of
right
things.
now.
But I want to cite him because I want people to check this stuff out, because he will do things like that where he will sit down with a player and break things down, and nobody reads it. And it's sad. It really is.
Yeah.
It's depressing as hell, honestly.
I this is a point very specific where I don't want to call anybody out for good or bad. And I'm not saying Colton is, I'm not saying anything about anybody right now. That's it. I'm just talking about the state of where these things are. And the reality is, the bottom line is, as we've described it, it is,
and that's not the way
it is absolutely obvious that New York changed that call. I'm not complaining about the Lions losing, how they lost. I'm not complaining that the play was legal or not. None of that matters in this discussion. The thing that matters is that New York broke its own rules. New York broke its own rules and changed the outcome of a play. And that is exactly what's wrong. And if they did it here and they're covering it up, and they're using all the reins of keeping coach silent, he can't talk about it, the refs just disappear and quietly and go away, don't say anything about it except the pool report, all the controlled pieces, it's worse than the problem itself, right? This is the stuff that presidents get impeached over. It really is, right? The cover up is worse than the crime. Remember where they invented that one? It's exactly that. This is bananas, and that is the story. That is the story, and not getting reported is an indictment of the media.
So, Chris, you know, I'm a big believer in don't come to me with problems without a solution. You've already presented the solution. Make that audio public. Maybe not during the game. Like, I love that the UFL, which, by the way, axed the Panthers, moved them to Columbus, but not really. But that's what happened. I love that they do that. But you don't need to go that far as long as you make it accessible. And it doesn't have to be make it accessible to credentialed reporters so we can read it, so we can hear it.
And admitting your mistakes, like as little help as those apology letters are, they are acknowledgments that you made a mistake. Yes. And look, you can start tying those together and create a pattern of behavior, but at least it's transparent. And that transparency is the best disinfectant for crookedness.
I have a quick story about that because this happened to me and my son. My son was a high school basketball player at Zeeland East High School. We went to Mona Shores High School his junior year. He had a phenomenal game, career high. We lost the game because the one official overruled another official's technical foul. So if you don't know the rules of basketball, if somebody is holding the ball and attempting to inbound the ball and you touch the ball while it's still in their hands, they're out of bounds, that's an automatic technical foul. Non-negotiable. The guy called it. The guy at the other end of the floor waved it off. We lost the game because of that directly. Now, yes, one of our other players missed 5 of 7 free throws in the fourth quarter. That it contributed to it. But that play directly cost us the win. And I went apeshit because I'm a former basketball official. I went apeshit in the stands. Like, the principal of our school came up to me and was like, "You need to take a chill." I'm like, "No, the fuck I don't." So I knew the ref a little bit because he's been around. He does some AAU games. And I said, "When you watch this game, you're going to be embarrassed as fuck for yourself." So, like 3-4 weeks later, I'm at a district basketball game. My son is there. I'm sitting with his AAU coach, who's a local. He was a coach. He was Derek King, the Ottawa Hills basketball head coach. We're sitting there, and the ref comes up to me, and he puts his hand up. And he smiles. He comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, asshole." Because I said, "You remember the asshole?" He's like, "You were right. I apologize." That meant the world to me. It really did. Mm-hmm. It meant the world to Coach King sitting next to me because I had pointed it out. Like, that guy missed that fucking call. Yeah. Like, I was, because I don't get over those things very easily. I'm a bad person that way. Mm-hmm. But that meant so much for me. And he has since called other games where I've been at. He's a good ref. He had a bad call. He had a bad game. They happen. They're human.
But when I cheated, I
had some really shitty games, but I didn't have New York to correct me. I didn't have the MHSAA overlords to correct me on the spot.
So, but that's the thing.
If I had that, I wouldn't do the job.
This is the thing. New York not only broke their own rule by changing that call, right, and having them throw the flag on that, but they had to purposely do it. They know the rule. They have every piece of technology. They had to search pretty freaking deep in the rule book to the point where the coaches and the quarterback were confused by the call, saying, "What? What the hell are you talking about?" And oh, by the way, one thing I neglected to mention, coach said he went over the play with the refs before the game. So if they decided to look up the rules, they would have known and been able to throw the flag right away. It wouldn't have required a call from New York.
Goff did screw it up, but that's
again. But they told them they were going to do it. The refs were prepared for it. It happened, and it took 1 minute and 17 seconds and a call from New York in order to change that call. And that is the conspiracy, man. That is crazy. I love conspiracy culture. Like the people that are into that, like I think it's really amazing. I love listening to the stories and that. I am
God, I am Chris, I am so out on that.
No. And I'm not in on the whole conspiracy thing. I just love the stories and the people and the culture around it. It is great watching. It's kind of like a TV show, right? And sometimes things that you think are conspiracy are actually like real. Like I was blown away that MK Ultra was like a real thing. I was blown away. And then when you read about it, you're like, holy shit, it's crazy. But I don't want to go down to that rabbit hole. This is something nuts. Let's get into the last piece we got to talk about. Can we do that?
I want to read something real quick because this is about when the NFL announced that they were going to do replay in stadiums. And this is Rich McKay, who is the NFL Competition Committee chairman. This is in 2024. He said, "We used to say when the referee would come in and face you, say, after discussion, it was determined there was no intentional grounding. We're going to change that this year." This is for the 2024 season. When the replay assistant actually does say something or impact the referee is going to say, after consultation with the replay assistant, the flag is picked up or whatever. We're going to make it clear to you at home and you in the stadium what's going on, because it's one thing for the people at home and begin to think things. And that's what he said. That's not my screw up there. But people in the stadium don't know either. So our idea was to be very clear and very transparent on what it is impacting the call and why.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happened here. No. And that's why we have a problem.
Yeah. And I think they considered it a ref safety issue is why they probably did that. They don't care about the fans and transparency. They don't. They have such a strong ownership in this space that people are so fanatically faнаticals, that they forgive this stuff. And when you've got 31 teams who are unaffected by it and don't hear about it, it just whistles past. And 2 weeks later, there's a different controversy of a different kind that one fan base is mad about, and you whistle past it, forget about it. But the game is so strong and so just so much fun and so inculcated into what people do that it just gets forgotten about. Right. Until the next time they say, remember then you're pointing back at that too, and this, that, and all these other ones. But what people don't do is string together. This one right here is very, very indicative of something seriously wrong with the league. And I think this is a lot more than a missed call somewhere. Right. This is from New York, and that they have every ounce of power and technology and the rule book at hand, everything in their hands to make those decisions. And they know better. They know better.
And next time, it might be the Chargers. It might be the Broncos. It might be the Packers.
1-31 or 1-32 every time.
It probably won't be the Chiefs, but that's just bitterness talking.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. That was it. Again, folks, that's why I want to be very clear up front as to why, this isn't about whether they won or lost the game. That's not what this is about.
It was inconsequential to the outcome of the game.
Not about whether the play and the motion was legal or not legal. This isn't about any of that. This is about the specifics of the NFL and what the hell went on, because that is broken. That is absolutely broken. Looking ahead to Monday night against the Bucs, we'll return and take it in the ass again. No, let's talk about what this game looks like.
Refs don't like Baker Mayfield either, thank God.
Thank God we've got a chance for redemption, huh? We've got a shot of redemption this week. Let's talk about it. Riz, I'm going to let you take the mic a little bit. I'm going to get a sip of water and rest my throat a little.
It's a very interesting matchup because their wide receiving core and offensive line are both very questionable, and our defensive secondary is very questionable.
Yeah.
And they haven't practiced yet. That we haven't had any injury reports. If Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka and Chris Godwin and whoever has been playing left tackle for them are all out,
Werfs.
that's a massive deal.
Yeah.
If Kirby and Brian Branch are out both, and it sounds like that's going to be the case, and we're still missing Terrion, and we're still missing DJ Reed, who's on IR. Avonte Maddox won't be back. Like, it's weird that like their depleted unit is going against our depleted unit.
It's strength against strength, weakness against weakness, right?
Yeah, I mean, and like they're playing really good football. Their defense is getting after it. Levante David is ageless. Their defensive line is smart. They're sharp. They're quick. Their cornerbacks are somewhat vulnerable, but they make plays.
Do you know who?
I'll just go back to.
I want to go to one of their starting corners, right? There's on one side they got Jamel Dean. On the other side,
pretty good player.
They've got a guy you may have heard of him. His name's Kindle Vildor.
And
he's not playing bad this year. Just so
no,
you know.
he's not. That's the thing. Like he's
and he's got all the reason.
All right.
He's got all the reason to give it his all here. Right?
He does have some motivation for sure. He's not going to be treated well upon his return to Detroit. I predict that. I don't blame fans for booing him on that because it's rough.
He did, but he was in an untenable position. I mean, the
Yes,
whole secondary was hurt. Usually when you bring someone in, you can flow some help to them. There was no help on that field. You know what I mean? I never hated Vildor the way the rest of the Lions, many of the Lions fans seem to. I didn't. I mean, he was the guy that was put in an A+ situation with C level.
Chris, we watched that game in Mobile together. If he makes that play, we're in the Super Bowl.
I know.
Yeah, he is playing fairly well though, and their defensive line gets after it. They are going to be a challenge for us. But I will go back to what we said the last two times we've played Baker Mayfield. Now he's changed a bit this year. Where are the Lions vulnerable defensively? Throwing over the top. What does Baker Mayfield not do well? Throw over the top. Historically, now he's doing a lot better at it this year, which scares me a little bit. But he is a guy, and I don't want to say he's like Brian Branch in that he can get rattled, but you can get in his head, and he is the type who will jaw back and who will maybe lose a little focus from a play or two. That's one of the reasons why Cleveland didn't like him so much, because he could get taken off of his game. And maybe this is a game where Hutch isn't a talker like that, but Anzalone is. Like, there's a couple guys who will let you know that they've made a good play against you on this Lions defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be a bad idea to do that to Baker Mayfield, because he and Jared Goff are both viable MVP candidates this season.
Yep.
And playing like it. And whoever has the better game is probably going to win. And after the first 5 games, I would have had full confidence in Goff with the group that he's got. But after last week, wasn't Goff's best, wasn't John Morton's best, wasn't anybody but Laporta's really best.
Right.
They got to bring it better. If they do that, they're the better team. But if they don't, Tampa Bay will beat them. So they got to play like they are a good team, because they did not do that Sunday. And if they do that on Monday night at home in the uniforms that Gray doesn't care for. By the way, Gray's piece this week was very good. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Mike. It was good. It was very good.
He's killing it.
He is. I like the Lions generally in this game, but they're going to have to play better than they did on Sunday, because we lost to a team that played better than us on Sunday, and we will do that again Monday night if we don't play better.
Yeah. I'll just talk about a couple of things. Rashad White's having a good year out of the backfield. It's a hell of a great game to get Big Mac back. McNeil. That defensive line, if it gels the way we believe it will.
Because their running back from last year, Bucky Irving, is not playing super well this year.
Yeah. If we get that line back we're getting the line back, if it plays as well as we expect, that could spell doom for their run game, because we play the run very well. and with Big Mac back, that's good, and that gives then the freedom to unleash Hutch to keep Mayfield on the run. And that's, I mean, to be fair, Mayfield is good on the run, but he also
he will make
can you
mistakes.
Say bipolar anymore? Yeah, he's both brilliant.
That's a great way to put it.
He's
Schizo.
both.
Oh, you probably can't say that.
He's both brilliant and an absolute
My apologies
fail.
to schizophrenics.
They've heard it before.
Rexalta, I think it is. I don't know. One of those ads that I see. The dude with the skateboard with the nice hair. That's an ad for an antipsychotic drug.
Okay, thank you. If they're not paying us, don't advert. So anyway, with all that, we got a lot going on. They got to run the game. It's a strength against strength. The pass game, a weakness against weakness. But Maker on the run makes a lot of mistakes. He's a mistaker Bayfield at that point. Mistaker Bayfield. How do you like that?
This is a game where
really
the Lions do not give up on the run and do not give up on the deep shots, and they gave up on both of those against Kansas City.
They're leaning
shots to Jamo were going to be there.
Their
safeties
towards
are good.
Man coverage, though, is what's going to help them in this game, because when quarterbacks move, the zone gets stretched so wide. That's where these guys are wide open all the time for a mobile quarterback to find those gaps. Man coverage gives you the chance to beat that, and Baker's going to be moving. That's the play here. I know people wish we play more zone, but don't. Yeah.
Well, we did not play good zone, specifically our linebackers. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jack Campbell, stop covering people that are already covered.
If you give them time, and that
Russ
field
and I
stretches,
counted.
the zone breaks.
It was
every time.
eight times in that game. He covered somebody that was covered in a different zone. He wasn't where he was supposed to be. Yep. He's a great player having a great season. He had a really, really bad game. Happens. He can't have another one because this is a good Buccaneers team that is looking to establish itself and get some credibility. Because they've got, they beat San Francisco. That's nice. Okay, San Francisco is without everybody you've heard of on that team pretty much right now. They're signing dudes off of practice squads and starting them, much in the way that we did a year ago. They're looking for this. This is a big game. This is a circle on the calendar game for the Buccaneers. Lions are in a lot of those this year as the team that's being circled, which is kind of strange.
This is one the Lions need to circle too, though. Because the Lions, the last two meetings, the Lions won handily, and then the it's one of two losses last year is Tampa, right? This is a team that can play well and matches well against the Lions. The spread, the market has them at the Lions favored at minus 5.5. PFF has the Lions favored at minus 4.9. The over/under is 53. And the money line Lions minus 260 and Tampa Bay plus 210. So the numbers.
And you know what? That seems right too. That's kind of where I'd put it. I'd say the Lions are 5 to 6 points favorites, even though they have a lesser record. Just because we do have the talent, and we are Lions fans we are relatively healthy compared to them. They've got problems. They have very serious offensive line problems, and I posted this in the Slack. Their right side of their line, both their right guard and their right tackle, are turnstiles in the pass game.
Their left guard, I'll just really quick
can win.
Hitting the PFF. To be honest with you, their highest rated player, other than Tristan Wirfs, is 55.9. And they go down with one player. The right tackle, Heck, is at 41.8, and their left guard is 49.4. Their whole line is turnstiles. They're cones, man.
Here's what you need to know about Heck. He got cut by the Texans. That's all you need to know.
The other thing, if you're into numerology, the Lions don't lose 2 in a row. Since that fateful win,
I trust that Campbell will have a bet, because let's be straight, Dan didn't have a great game the other night. Shep didn't have a great game. Morton didn't have a great game. I think they're going to be aware of that and make amends. I really do. So I think they're going to go into the bye, leave everything on the line. Hey, we got an extra 9-10 days to sleep this one off. When we get back, we're going to be let's go out and prove ourselves and then chill. Yeah. And I think I like the Lions a lot, probably on a healthy amount of to the Lions in this game, honestly.
Mm-hmm. This is this is the NFL's get right game for the Lions. I hate to say it that way, but it's going to take a little bit to get me off of that. It's going to take a little bit to get me off of that, Riz, because again, I'll just cut right to nothing else matters that other than New York made the change of the play. That's the only thing that matters, because that throws everything into question.
We're owed John Hussey's crew this week too. I don't have any feelings either way about him. I know there's a lot of people that get hung up on like whether it's Clete Blakeman or whoever. Like
he sucks. He does.
The crew's the crew.
He does suck, though.
Y'all are generally, and this is where I play anti-conspiracy theorist. The refs, they don't care. They really don't. They're just trying to do their job. They're trying to keep their job. It's lucrative. It's nice. Although in some of the cases, it's a side job that pays less than their regular job, which is one of the reasons why.
It's hard to get fired, though, too. Let's be honest.
It is. But yeah, there's this big push that everybody wants to make them full-time refs. Like for a lot of guys, that would mean that they would give up their more lucrative jobs and they would have even more trouble. Let's be straight. There is an officiating shortage that is reaching epidemic proportions at all levels of football, starting at the top and going down. I have seen middle school games where there are 2 officials on the field, and that's all they can get. That's all there is.
Mm-hmm.
There's supposed to be 4. High school games are supposed to be 5. There's technically supposed to be 6. Most games have 5 now. College games, they're not getting the upflow. It's just not there. So. They're in a tough spot, and I think
they chose it.
I'm not someone. Yeah, they did. And Chris, as you know, my retirement plan is to go into officiating. When AI takes over my job, which is going to happen sooner than later, I will become an official.
It's a watch, not a calendar, right? It's at the point where it's a watch, not a calendar. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, it's nuts.
It's coming. It's coming very soon. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Journalism as we know it will be gone.
And that's
at all levels, in all fields.
I love journalism as we knew it. As we know it, I don't like it. Where it's going, I like it even less.
To the 70s and 80s, where it was very, very different than what it is now.
And we used to see the shows we watched were the black and whites with the guys with the hat with the card that said precedent and had a whole different approach on news, right? The China Syndrome, right? What an awesome movie! It was right about that.
Yes,
yeah, right,
great movie.
That's
what?
That's it.
That was it.
That was credibility, man. That was and it's not now. And where it's going is going to be even worse.
Yes.
It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be a heck of a lot cheaper and a heck of a lot more profitable.
It won't even be real, Chris. That's the fun part.
Well,
we're getting there already.
If we're there now, it's not that far down from where. So anyway, with all that, in many cases, Riz, and I'm going to again, I specifically haven't said names for very important reasons. Right?
No, I'm not touching that. No, I wonder what they will name my AI bot that replaces me.
Rizzler.
I hope it's something cool.
That's what I would name it.
Something cool.
Rizzler. If you ever see Rizzler posted on our site, you'll know. And Chrysler. Chrysler and Rizzler. All right.
Chrysler Arena? No, that's
Chrysler.
I know that's not how they say it in Michigan.
It is, isn't it? Chisler. All right. With that, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate it when you do that. It helps us get found by other people. And maybe there's gonna be a little bit of heat this time. We'll see what happens. But your love there is very, very nice. I appreciate all the folks that hit us with the likes and the subscribes. Thanks for watching the show and sticking with us. We got you covered on the line stuff. Don't forget, we have Bish and Brown coming up still this week. We had Gray yesterday in the Gray area. Really, really great episode. He's been killing it. He's really got his spot, man. He's really figured it out. That's great stuff. Bish and Brown, then we have the post-game show. That's a lot of fun with your calls and that kind of stuff going on. The post-game press conferences, those are a lot of fun. Kind of react in the moment. And then it's nice to do that and then have some time to think about it and come back with further analysis and then that kind of look ahead. I love the season, man.
That's where we go with it. Next week's bye week fun. I like that.
Yeah. All right. Don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. If you do the $5 or more a month in the Patreon, you get access to the Slack chat where Riz was talking about what he was dropping today. All the folks are in Slack. It's a really, really good place to hang and have a lot of fun. And the game threads are awesome. And it's a fantastic community of people that, I mean, we just absolutely love it. You can get in there, like I said, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast.
Hold it in my eye.
$5 a month or more gets you into that. And even less if you want to just support the show, you can do that. Also, don't forget amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Or if you're getting Lions gear, fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Follow us on the Twitter machine at Jefe Rizdone. Or what is it? No, Giuseppe. Is it Giuseppe? No. Giacomo Rizdone. At Jeff Risden on the X machine.
I'm not Italian.
You're all kinds of things, and it's different every show. Come on, Giacomo, calm it down.
Find something Germanic Swiss.
Next week you're gonna be Jeremiah, so wear your Quaker hat.
All right.
Jebediah.
Go to Amish country. Not that far from here.
Follow us DET Lions podcast on the X. Give us in there. We'll get every time show's going to be on, something's going to happen, whatever, you know, that's how you find it. That's where we always do most of our communication outward from. Also go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. It's the most beautiful place on the internet where the greatest people hang out. And you can go there as well as all your other podcast aggregators and the YouTube and the Spotify's and all that Spotify video. You get no commercials if you get premium. You can go to all those places. And what happens when people go there, Riz, and they subscribe?
I get to come into your earholes automatically.
Oh, God. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no missed calls, no problems, because we are your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. Thank you all. We'll love you. We'll see you soon.